3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the podcast from the ground up. Here we have myself, Pelz, aka I better not hear question number 10. Aka all that could be so merch, fam.
Yes. What's up, everyone? It's your girl Nivs, aka that girl, yeah.
Yeah.
If you've watched Franny's interview, you will know what I mean.
So today's guest, we have a very, very special person, guys. You may know her as that makeup artist on Instagram. You may know her as that dancer from Explosion. Hey! We have the one, the only, Kayla Perez.
Let's go.
Welcome.
Welcome, Kayla.
Yes, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for coming.
I just said that.
Yeah, I just want to repeat, guys.
Love that for you.
Yeah, I love you.
Oh, love you more.
All right,
you
let's
hang up.
Okay, so before we start the podcast, guys, we're going to jump into some icebreakers.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yes, okay.
And we've chosen to do Would You Rather, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
So do you want to start us off, Kayla?
No.
I think we should.
Oh, okay, because
Yeah,
mine's like
yeah.
Yeah.
not the best.
Not
But
the best.
It's very
G-rated.
G-rated.
Mhm.
Love that for the G-Raiders.
Would you rather live in the fuggliest house but have the nicest car, or have the nicest house and a shitbox?
Nicest.
Give me that shitbox, alright?
Yeah, I'd rather
Yeah.
drive the shitbox.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm already driving one, so.
I don't even drive.
Okay, next.
Oh, okay.
Wait, what
then.
would you choose?
Yeah, what would you choose?
Oh, the nicest house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Sure.
And
Because, like, that's worth more value. Like,
yeah.
if you go and sell it, you're going to get more money for it.
Would you rather be a vampire or a wizard?
Ooh,
A vampire.
Vampire for sure.
If it's like a have you guys seen Vampire Diaries?
No, but
Those
Yes.
vampires
our
are
camera woman
Yes.
has.
Oh, how good is it?
Are they?
Oh my gosh.
Are they daywalkers? Those ones?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Have
so-
you watched the originals?
I'm about
Oh,
to,
girl.
but I don't know. I don't
You
know.
don't know vampires until you watch that. Oi,
Oh,
it's
because
so
they're like
good.
real powerful.
Yeah. Oi, it's so good. Have you watched it? Yes.
Nah, but it consumed my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Like watching
Because
it?
I watched it during ISO.
Oh.
I can't get into it now. Now that I'm back to work,
Yeah.
I just, no.
Don't have the time.
Oh,
No.
Sorry, we're not
multitask.
busy. No.
I
Sorry,
work.
business
So-
successful.
Holy shit. I'm getting bounced on the podcast, guys. I thought we were good friends, Kayla. Come on.
Are you attacking me?
Well, everyone knows I'd be a wizard because
a
witch,
witch.
wizard. I could be a vampire if I was a witch.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, that's true.
yeah, I could. Thanks, you're on my team now.
Yeah.
I'd be a witch. Oh, wizard. Witch.
Nice.
Yeah, I
Same
go
thing.
wizard all day.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Harry Potter, bro. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, don't
wait,
shout
wait,
out to
wait,
J.K.
wait.
Rowling.
Can
though.
I ask one thing? Sorry, it's just
Yeah.
Team Damon or Team Stefan?
What was that?
Damon, for sure.
Yeah,
Yes.
Same.
Oh, I can't stand
What team?
Stefan.
What would you
Like,
choose?
he's all good, but like,
It's like saying Team Jacob or Team Edward.
yeah.
Oh, is one a werewolf?
No,
No.
one's just hot and one's just not.
Yeah. And one's like bad bitch vampire.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait.
One's like
Oh,
bitch.
You know how
Yeah.
you say not? Is it like really not?
No,
Or-
still
Okay.
cute, but just like
Mhm.
you know how they can make a character seem so hot.
Oh,
yeah.
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 Do you think
Yeah.
it's the story as
It's
well?
the story
It's
Yeah.
just, yeah.
and their character, I think.
100%.
What do you reckon? What's the two again?
Stefan or Damon?
Who?
Damon.
Yeah.
Damon.
I asked my mum that. My
Yo.
mum, I was like, Mum, who do you like better, Stefan or Damon? And she's like, Damon. I was like, you, Mum. I was like, you ugly. Don't ever do that again.
Oh, no.
Did you hear that, Mama Perez? You ugly. Don't do it again.
Oh, no.
She
The
said it.
disrespect on these kids.
Oh well.
Okay.
Moving on. What's your question? Or your
Mine
to go?
is.
Okay, you go.
Oh no, who? Me? You?
No, I just done one.
I
What was
didn't.
it? Huh?
Yeah, he asked the wizard one.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Because I
Oh.
couldn't find mine.
Did you ask yours?
No.
No.
Oh, you go hard.
No, you go.
Like, I'm still trying to find it.
Okay, I'll go. Would you rather wake up hungover and find out you texted your ex, or find out you spent your entire paycheck at the bar?
Give me that paycheck. The first one get me killed, bro.
Bye. Wait, can you repeat that again?
Yep. So, would you rather wake up hungover and find out you texted your ex, or would you rather have spent your whole paycheck at the bar?
Oh, I think I would choose X because I don't really have an ex.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't have an ex. So.
Yeah, so I'd go for that one
choose
and
that.
keep my money.
Yeah, keep your super.
So all the exes do better. All the exes slacking.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, mine is, would you rather...
Did you choose?
Yeah, I don't want to choose.
Oh, did you choose?
Choose yours.
I'm
No.
so sorry. I went to go grab your boobs.
Wow. Harassment.
Top of the list.
Wait, dead.
Yeah, what would you
So
choose?
tender and juicy.
I can't deal. This is getting all the way cut.
What would you choose?
Yeah, probably spend my paycheck at the bar.
Yeah,
I do it anyway.
I enjoy that shit.
Vodka all day. Yo,
Nice.
what's yours?
Okay, let's say it's your birthday and you want to party it up in one state in America, but I'm only choosing two. I mean,
Okay.
2 cities.
Yeah.
Would you party up in New Orleans or would you party up in Vegas?
New Orleans.
I knew you would choose that. And why?
With Klaus.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Originals. Love that. Yeah. I'd probably do the same.
New Orleans?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like
I know, but Vegas is like.
I feel like Vegas is too much. Like
Oh,
Yeah.
hells.
I just
no.
feel like it's too dirty, kind of thing. If that makes sense.
Make it nasty.
What would you choose?
For me, I think it's too much. Yeah.
New Orleans? I'll choose New Orleans because...
Fine, I'll go
Already been to
Vegas.
Vegas.
Boring. We got the same answers again. Broken records. No. Nah.
Do you want to choose another, like some more?
Do you guys have
Yo.
one more?
Okay.
Yeah, I think I might have one.
Beautiful one.
Oh, my
Say
next
a
one.
beautiful one.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'll look
I've
for
got
one.
one.
Yeah.
Yo.
Would you rather be able to control people's mind or read people's mind?
Oh,
I don't know.
none.
Ooh,
That's a good one.
I'm like, none.
No, that's a good.
Yeah, because I
usually.
feel like controlling someone, like that shit that they can't get to make their own things,
Yeah.
decisions. Like if you control someone to love you, that kind of thing.
Like
But
I
I
couldn't
feel
do
like
that.
yeah, but I feel like to know what's
I
in
reckon-
someone's head,
Yeah.
you'll be like,
Or I don't know.
Yeah.
There's been
that way you
moments
really
where, like,
think
for
about
exa-
me.
like let's say I don't know, like a police officer or
Oh.
like a judge or something, and let's say you want it a certain way, you'd be like
Oh.
innocent. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So
Yeah.
Don't
I would
say
love
that.
to be.
I'm going straight to the courthouse. Free the
Freedom.
Usos, man.
Yeah,
I think I would go for mind control, but mainly to
Be in a
benefit.
good way?
Yeah, to benefit
The
Yeah.
world.
Like to be like, you know, you can move
The
in
world.
this direction.
the world. What an
With
inspiration.
you.
Because I feel like both is like an invasion of privacy, but I would go for control only to better
Yeah.
whoever it is.
Yeah,
100.
nice
Yeah.
answer, man.
Thanks.
What would you choose, Bells?
I'll go the same. I want to copy Mihako. I
Broken
can't think for
records.
myself. He's
Fine.
already controlling my mind right now.
Fine, I'll read it. I'll choose read people's minds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Did you hear what Kayla said?
Yeah. We'll wait till the camera's off. Nah,
Did you guys ever watch That's So Raven?
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you ever see
Oh
that
my
episode where
gosh.
she got like sick?
Oh my god.
And then the grandma like, oh no, I think Raven started being able to read people's minds.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's
yeah,
not
yeah.
her psychic powers. I think it was like vision.
Just
or
vision,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
But
think
when
she
you get
was-
psychic
swear.
colds, yeah.
It reminds me of Tippy. That's a Raven.
Yeah. Oh, you know what's funny? That's a Raven reminds me of you
Yeah.
and Tippy.
Bro, Tippy all over.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
She used to do it all the time.
like the
bro.
quotes. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's
Sister, sister, yeah.
So what is she?
Oh, okay. Shit.
What's her power? Is it like
seeing
Seeing
into
the
the
what
future.
would you call it? Oh, seeing the future.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you know
What's
what?
those?
Psychic.
Oh, psychic. Yeah.
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 Mm.
This is the second time that Sir Raven's come up on this
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
podcast.
No, I was just gonna say, have you seen that guy who used to do the vines?
The
When he's
vine.
like,
No.
he walks past the what do you call
Like
the
a door?
psychic shops?
Oh. The what?
I was like the door.
Oh, I thought you said dwarf.
Oh no.
No, you know what do they call them? The psychic shops where you get
Like,
Oh, like
reading.
they tell you your future.
yeah.
Yeah.
He walks past and he like scares her and he goes, "Did you see that coming?
Oh, I need to watch
Have you
it.
seen it? Oh, it's funny as."
I've actually been to one.
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
wait,
yeah, I've got
did you
a
tell me?
reading before
Yeah.
as well.
They told me that I was gonna marry someone with
Oh,
the
yeah.
country beginning with an S. So I grew up my whole life thinking I was gonna marry like a Spanish guy,
Yeah.
but my boyfriend's Samoan,
Yeah.
so she got
That
that,
makes
right.
sense then.
Yeah.
Fluke, it's a fluke now.
What else did they say to you?
I don't remember anything else. I just remembered that detail
Yeah.
because I was like, all right, I need to find my man's. I'm the country S.
And then Kenny came along. Love that. Shout out to Kenny.
Shout out
Yo.
to Kenny. Love you.
Yeah. Would you rather be the drunk person that cries the entire night, or would you rather be that one that horses it all night?
Shout out to my cousin Yonga.
Oh my god!
Shout out to Luso. I love you, bro.
Oh my gosh! Tell the story now.
So guys, there's one time at band camp. Nah,
Nah, yeah.
we'll leave him. Shout out to Jonah.
Oh my, I can't believe you.
Wait till we get out, guys.
Would you rather be
what was
the
second?
Yeah, what was the second one?
one that rides the horse?
No, the one that starts fights and
Oh.
Yeah, like the
Oh.
HK.
yeah, that's a good one, eh?
That is a
Yeah.
good one. I'd rather cry, to be honest.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
wouldn't
I
want to
think
be
I'd
that
rather-
person that starts trouble.
Because I feel like when someone cries, you can leave that person to
Yeah.
cry. When someone starts a fight, that can bring everyone,
Everyone
level
down,
And
yeah.
you're just like, nah.
I think
Oh my
I'd choose
gosh.
fight because I don't think I would cause a big
Ooh.
fight.
get a big box over. You'd be the cry, like she's crying as well.
Boring.
Yeah, because I don't want to knock anyone out. Like, they don't want to have this smoke, bruh.
Imagine, you knocked things tooth out last night, bro. Stuff that.
Right. So let's dive into this podcast, guys, with our
Yes.
special guest, Kayla Perez. Okay, so Kayla Perez. So before the makeup, before your interest in makeup, before everything that's happened, what was little Kayla like?
Little Kayla. Well, I always grew up in like a really big, crazy family.
Mm-hmm.
I'm number 2 of 11 kids.
Wow.
So my childhood was always like busy, loud,
Mhm.
fun.
Yo.
Like, and I also not only do I have a lot of siblings, but I have a lot of cousins.
Yeah.
So we would like throw parties like every week because it was always someone's birthday.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, like I just feel like it's so different to like how my siblings grew up now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know if you guys grew up this way. Like you'd be playing tips or murder in the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like around like 6 blocks.
Mhm.
Or
And like
straight
you
up.
like all come home like and for at our parties we'd have like the uncles getting lit,
Love.
the aunties like talking shit, and then
Yeah.
literally all the kids like running around.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
now like my little siblings and my little cousins like they don't step foot out the
Yeah.
door. They're all
Yeah.
like on their iPads.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
very
technology.
stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like yeah, I'd say little Kayla was always just like a family orientated person.
Love.
How many sisters and brothers do you have?
I've got 4 sisters and 6 brothers.
that's
Damn,
mad,
That's
bro.
hectic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Just in saying that, having a lot of siblings, do you was it ever hard to find attention from your parents?
Ooh.
Yeah, like I'd say, but like because my parents were never like affectionate towards
All of yous.
any of us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's not like we felt like, oh, they're not paying attention to me. Maybe when I was like little, like
Yeah.
I hate when I was young, I hated my brother under me
Yeah.
Mm.
Is he the favorite?
because he was the favorite.
Oh,
Because
okay.
when my mom was young, like her first son died,
Yeah.
and so when they had the second child, she was a girl, so my older sister,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then they had me,
Oh, okay.
and then
The
the
first
all,
one.
all they
Like,
wanted
yeah.
was a boy. So when they had
Yeah.
my sister, they were like, oh, healthy baby, like they were so thankful.
Yeah.
And then when they had me, they were like, oh, fuck, another girl.
Yeah.
And then when my brother came along, they were so grateful to like have a boy. So they treated him so well. And so
Mhm.
growing up, I like had that resentment against him because my parents treat him like
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I was older that I was like,
That's
That's
why.
why.
Yeah.
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 Do you know why? Like, was it to carry on like the last name, or was it just like an
I
interest
think just
that
to
they had?
fill that void.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
True. And were you like when you grew up? Did you always know about your older brother that passed away?
Yeah,
or?
like always. My parents always like told us stories and stuff.
Okay, yeah. So it wasn't
Yeah.
like kept from you or anything?
No. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
For those like that don't know, what area did you grow up in?
I grew up in like the Kogarah area, like
Yeah.
Kogarah, Hurstville. So like there my whole life.
Yeah.
And then when I was like old enough and I moved out to like the Bankstown area.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah. So like, but to me that was like the West.
Yeah.
Yeah, but y'all are from the West.
We get it. No.
No, you were like, I'm from the West.
No, yeah.
What
in
is
the West.
Bankstown? Bankstown's it
South?
Southwest?
Southwest. I don't even know.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, in the West.
In the West.
Yeah,
No,
Southwest. Southwest line.
Southwest, I think, yeah.
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 Love
What was it
that.
like growing up with a lot of siblings?
It was always like crazy. It was always loud. Like
Yeah.
everyone in my family can sleep through anything.
Yeah.
Like I can like sleep, like especially because we used to work at the airport,
Yeah.
and because like having no sleep and stuff, it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
straight
sleep.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wherever.
But yeah, no, it was mad. Like I couldn't imagine it or picture it like, any other way.
What about high school? How was that like for you?
High school was kind of like, it was alright.
Yeah.
Like I was never like an amazing student.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Like
I would,
none of us
academically?
like academically, yeah.
I
like,
was. What the hell?
I was.
Oh, actually, you were the only one that graduated.
Oh, you graduated.
Nope. No, yeah, I did.
You did.
Yeah, no, like I was never super academic, but I was always really creative,
Yeah.
and like I was like talkative, but I'd never like chat back to the teachers or anything.
Yeah.
There'd be some girl like talk back to the teachers, and I'm like, you're annoying.
Are you that girl?
Oh,
Nah.
that was us.
It was us. We were so naughty
So
in high
bad.
school, like
Nah.
so bad. We even like
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, wait, were you guys in the same class?
Yeah.
like
yeah.
most of our classes, like we even got split up so many times.
Yeah. Like us.
Oh, like
Like,
us. Okay.
oi,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah, we would always get
Like
split up.
I was naughtier when we worked together than I
Yeah.
was
It's
in high
him, mate.
school.
It's
It's
him.
must
me.
be
It's me.
Me.
That's why I'm at the head of the table. Nah, jokes.
I'm dead.
This was all pre-makeup. So were you doing art at the time? Was that like a thing that you
No,
connected?
not really. Like we did art like in high school, but then
Yeah.
there wasn't enough girls in my school to keep it running, so they cut it, and I was
okay,
like,
yeah.
Oh, how annoying.
like I really
Not
wanted
enough
to do that.
girls.
Yeah, my school was so small,
We
had, like,
Did you go to an all girls?
all girls school, and then I think by the time it was like
Oh.
year 12, we had like 60 girls in the whole grade.
Damn.
Damn.
Whoa, that's a lot.
Do you reckon that's a lot?
Wait, that's what I was like. I was like, damn, that's like
I feel
still
like-
a lot.
At our school, we had like
All boys.
30, 40, like
yeah.
all
Like
up.
students.
Yeah.
Oh, well, like in my area.
30, 40.
I feel
Not
like there was
students.
hardly anything.
I think maybe
Nah.
year 10, 11, and 12 because everyone starts dropping out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about like 7, 8, 9?
No, we had
Oh.
a
It was
lot.
like heaps,
Yeah,
Really?
we had a lot. Yeah.
Now my brothers go to a school where there's like 500 kids in 1 year, and then
Oh.
500 in
and then-
one
What the
year.
Yeah, my
hell?
brothers are literally like, oh, when you go to like the formal and stuff, which is at the end of the year,
Yeah.
you literally see faces you've never seen. Yeah.
No way.
Oh, whoa. That's
Okay,
a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a lot.
That is a lot. Holy shit. So, did you do any other creative? Did you ever do dance? At
I
school?
did.
Oh,
Oh, not at school.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah.
like, I was always creative. Like, girls would like line up and I'd like braid their hairs and
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh, nice.
Or like, I would do like a wing on them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was always dancing. So I
Mhm.
had like a dance crew outside of school.
Hot.
Hot. Exactly. And like, through that, like, one of the girls in my crew like taught me how to do like makeup.
Yeah.
Oh, no
And
way.
then-
Did you have an interest before that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like always. I would always like collect makeup when I was like, young and stuff.
Fun.
And then I would do the girls in like my dance crew, like for all our like shows and like our competitions and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of just started like from there.
Love
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah, so growing up in a big household, so that's 13 all up. 11
Yeah.
siblings, 2 parents. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine that would be very stressful financially.
Yeah.
Yeah, so did you want to kind of talk about making ends meet?
Yeah,
kind of
no,
thing,
like,
growing
no, I
up?
get what you're trying to say. No, yeah, it was like really difficult for my family. My mum was a full-time stay-at-home mum, and my dad was the only one working. And like what my dad was making was good, I guess, for someone who's got like 2 kids.
Yeah.
But I guess it would be hard for anyone to provide for 11.
Yeah.
But we always just made it work. You know, my mom was always like really smart with where we lived, so she always would find properties that were really cheap.
Yep.
So we always lived in really like old, rundown, rat-infested homes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I got used to it, and like because it was so normal to me growing up, I didn't think anything of it until I got a little bit older, and I would like go to friends' houses and be like, why doesn't my house look like this?
Yeah.
And then I would just start to notice like things. I was like, why is there like switches in my house? Like we didn't have like light switches.
Yeah.
Like we had like a string.
Oh,
like
okay.
like
Oh, yeah.
houses from like
Old
the
Way
early,
back.
early,
Yeah.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
our toilet didn't have a button. It was like a chain.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then
cool.
it was like
Yeah.
real like old
Yeah.
school. And then like our bathroom like had a massive hole in it where you could
Yeah.
literally see like the ground under.
Yeah.
Like literally a hole.
Yeah.
Like
Like-
literally from the ground up.
Yeah.
Is it like the same size as that box there?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
literally
no.
the size of that box.
Yeah.
You know?
Nah, yeah.
Yeah. And like it was like a really like small bathroom, so you'd have to walk around.
Yeah.
Just to go to the toilet.
Yeah.
How many rooms in your house?
It would always live in 3-bedroom homes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And how
so
would
like
that work?
it would be like mum and dad and the young kids,
Yeah.
and then it would be like the sisters and like the brothers.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like
Yeah.
I think at one point I was like, yeah, sharing a room with like 4 of my sisters, and I
Mhm.
started like dating my boyfriend, and he would like sleep over
Yeah.
with like all my sisters, whereas he's an only child and
Yeah.
like had his own room and
Mhm.
Oh,
like
okay.
his
So it
own
was
TV and
Was
different.
everything.
comfortable.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, damn, like I felt like embarrassed. I was like,
Yeah.
but he like liked it because
Yeah.
it was so different to how he grew up.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, because you know, like, I think when I hear Cogra or something like that, I think, like, you
Flash,
know, well
yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Like,
A
you
lot
know.
of people from out
people.
west
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
think that, but like no, like definitely not where like I lived or how I grew up.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, my parents wanted to move out west, so they could afford, like, I
Yeah.
mean, $300 in Cogra would probably get you like a way better house out west.
Out here, yeah.
Yeah, we'd probably have a 4-bedroom house
Yeah.
that didn't have a hole in the bathroom.
No strings.
Like light switches.
Yeah. Working light
Yeah.
switches.
But what was shit about our light switches, because the string was so old,
Yeah.
it would start to like snap.
Oh, every time you turned it on, it would snap.
Snap a bit. And then I don't know if
Damn.
you guys being young ever like climbed a door.
Oh,
Yeah,
the frame.
yeah, on
Yeah,
the side, yeah.
So eventually we'd have this like,
Little Filipinos.
little spiders.
Shout out to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think everyone's could relate
Yeah.
to that whole ghetto and the struggle.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And did you want to speak on some qualities you learned off being in that environment?
Well, like I definitely learned how to be responsible, mature, how to take care of others, and it definitely shows in my career now. Like
Mhm.
regular makeup artist kind of just does like the job and go, whereas I really build like a relationship with a lot of my clients, and
Yeah.
I stay, I take care of them, make sure they're okay. And a lot of people have always told me that I should get into like management
Yeah.
because I like to take care of people.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's just things that those
Nurturing,
qualities I
yeah.
grew up with.
Yeah. Damn.
That's so true. I feel
Yeah.
like you should definitely get into something like
Something
that.
like that.
Yeah, because you've always been like the caretaker, you know,
Yeah.
like for as long as I've known you, you've
Yeah.
always been.
Even
A
like this, I'm
caretaker.
like, let me buy you an SD card.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Shout
the
out.
brownies over
Yeah.
here. Shout out to Tealish brownies.
Shout
yeah,
out.
shout out.
Shout out.
That was major of her as well, like Kelly Rowland. That was so
Oh, that
good.
was
Yeah,
huge.
that
Yeah.
was that was. that
That's
was
like
massive.
iconic.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sure,
big time.
Shout out to you.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's funny that you say that story about about Kenny coming over and sleeping on the floor with him
Yeah.
and stuff, because when we were all hanging out with Leah the other night, she brought that up, and even Mariana did as well, and she
Yeah.
was like, "Oh yeah, I seen that post that like you posted."
Yeah, that I
up."
posted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, that's so cute."
Yeah. Oh, Kenny's so cute. Like,
Yeah.
I think about it now, and I'm like, I'm so grateful to have someone who was able to come into my family and accept me and accept
Mhm.
my family for what it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Like, he would definitely make comments and be like, oh, like, oh, the food was out for too long. I can't, he's like, I can't eat that.
Yeah.
Because he literally will get an upset stomach. Because, you
Mhm.
know, for his mom, like, they would cook, pack away the food, put it in the
Yeah.
fridge straight away.
Yeah.
Whereas got a big family
Just
to
leave it
feed,
out.
leave it
Yeah.
out,
Mhm.
and
It's gonna
So
get eaten.
we'd
Yeah.
eat it even like after hours and hours. Like
Yeah.
our stomachs were
Adjust to it.
would
yeah.
adjust to
Yeah, I
the
mean,
bacteria.
Yeah.
As janky as that sound, but I can eat anything and I
No,
was
yeah.
100%.
That's- I
That's
feel that's
all of
me
us.
as
Whereas
well.
like
yeah.
no joke, can you like? I think like my sister once cooked something,
Mhm.
and after a few hours he like ate it, and like didn't want to, but he
Yeah.
ate it anyways, and like ended up in the toilet, like sick.
Yeah.
sitting on the hole.
Yeah, because
Nah, yeah. I remember growing up like in those kind of households,
Mm.
always afraid to bring guests over.
See,
How was
I
that,
never,
like,
I never went
were you-
through that because I was so like,
So
Thought it was
Like,
normal.
I just thought it was
Yeah.
normal. So I would always like have friends over,
Mm.
whereas my older sister was a little bit more conscious of that. So
Yeah.
she's never invited a friend to our house,
Yeah.
whereas I would always like have parties and stuff.
Yeah, you didn't
And I
care.
didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and especially like when I went to the Philippines, I was like 10, and then I saw the way they
Yeah.
lived,
Mhm.
So you're very
and
grateful.
then so I was so
yeah.
grateful for what I had, and I was like, no one in Australia struggles like.
Like this.
Yeah, people struggle in Australia. Of course, I'm not going to say no one struggles,
Yeah.
but it's Australian struggle. We're a first world country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like no one struggles. Like
The islands.
80%
yeah,
of the world. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like people don't have access to like clean drinking water, whereas
Yeah.
everyone here does.
Mhm.
I can't say
Yeah.
everyone, but yeah.
100%.
yeah, so that was a little wake up call for you, or you always kind of felt grateful and appreciated everything.
Yeah, I was always grateful.
Mm.
Like, yeah, I was never like a little brat or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely been around people who like are, and I
Yeah.
look at them, and I've taught many friends like life lessons.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Through spending time with them and seeing how I am, and yeah, I don't know how to say. Yeah.
So you humbled them pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
For that.
Yeah. So growing up in the struggle, was there kind of a moment where you kind of upgraded, and everyone's just excited, like kind of leveling up,
I reckon-
house wise and
Yeah, there was
like-
a few stage where we like moved to a nicer house.
Yeah.
I think it's the house that you came to and you met my mom for the first time.
Oh yeah, yeah.
like
yeah.
that was probably the nicest house my family's like ever lived in.
Okay, yeah.
That didn't last for long. But yeah, like, you know, me and my sister got like our first jobs. So like I was 15, like 14, 9 months. Like when she was 14, 9 months, she got a job. When I turned that age, I got a job. And, you know, my parents didn't have to like pay for anything of us. Like
Yeah.
we'd pay for like our own school excursions, school camps,
Yeah.
uniforms, food, everything.
Mhm.
And then we would pay rent as well. So because they had that extra income,
Yeah.
we were able to like move to a nicer place. And
yeah. What was it like when everyone's like, we was all running around the house like saying this is my room or like that kind of thing, like everyone's just cheering.
yeah.
That's got, you know, slowly climbing up.
Yeah, like I think with me, even though I'm not the oldest, whatever I say kind of goes.
Yeah.
So I would walk in and be like, okay, this is my room. And then,
That's so true, guys.
yeah, yeah, like my oldest sister, she's so cute, but like really like quiet. So, but I mean, we shared a room, so,
Yeah.
but yeah, we're
Yeah.
definitely happy in like a nicer house.
Yeah.
But I don't live with my family anymore, but they've kind of went backwards. So they're kind of in a house that's similar to how we grew up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which sucks. And my biggest dream is to be able to like, you know, buy my family a house. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
because there's so many of them and they always have to move, like they'll get kicked out or something goes wrong. I would just love to buy them their like forever home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Hard.
Yeah. I feel like that's kind of something we all kind of want to
Yeah,
do.
I was gonna say.
Have you
like,
guys moved
days
a
of
lot in your life?
Oh,
Sorry?
bro.
Have you guys like moved a lot? in your
Yeah, I've
life?
moved heaps.
Yeah.
Heaps. Like, I don't even know how much schools I've gone to. Yeah,
Yeah.
but definitely, I think we all have that dream,
that-
like
yeah.
take care of everyone.
I think I've lived in every suburb within Mountie.
Yeah.
Like everywhere. Me and my family just kept moving.
Yeah.
So like kind of the same
Yeah.
struggle. Same as Pelz, eh?
Yeah.
Pelz as well.
The hotels.
What would I always wonder like what would like what was the reason? What was
What
like the
Whatever.
reason for like moving and stuff?
Financial, I'd say for myself.
Yeah, pretty much the same with my parents. My old man was the breadwinner.
Yeah.
But my old man passed away. So then, yeah, no, it's alright. It's been a while now. So, Yes, and we're all young as well.
Mm.
We're a family of 5.
5 kids.
Yeah. And when my dad passed away, we just even when my old man was still alive, like back then, I think it was a lot harder as well. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, just always getting evicted and stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say getting
So,
evicted.
pretty similar, yeah.
Yeah.
Like-
There's- I remember we got kicked out of our house,
Yeah.
and I had to change school, and I
Yeah.
ended up going back to the same school. And they were like, "Where did you go?"
Yeah.
I was so busy, just telling lies.
But it's straight up, like
Yeah.
I used to lie a lot, like
For sure,
bro,
I used
like
to hide that.
yeah.
Yeah,
And because we all knew, like, like there was things you could say and there was things you couldn't say,
Yeah.
like so as a kid, like you
Yeah.
just make shit up.
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of to like protect yourself as
Yeah,
well
yeah.
from like
100%.
getting hurt from what they would say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What they
kids
would
are.
think.
Kids can
Some
be
kids,
cruel.
man.
Don't you reckon,
Yeah.
especially as a kid, like you wouldn't want to say that?
Yeah.
But being older now, like it's so easy to like openly talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not openly talk about that, but
Yeah.
for me, like I would be so embarrassed. I wouldn't be
Mm.
able to like talk about stuff like this.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think that's kind of changed for the younger people now, like in primary school struggling? You think it was worth or like the same mindset, like teasing and on
I
the
think
misfortunate
it's-
kind of thing? Do you think that's the same as when you were growing up?
I don't know. I think
Probably
feel like
worse.
Do you reckon worse?
I only say worse because like now there's the internet,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like like everyone's on their phone, like all the Snapchat apps, like
Mhm.
Facebook, anyone can post anything, like you
Yeah,
know.
true.
But back then where it was all mouth, like everyone used to just say it to each other and that. But now everyone's like posting everything, everyone struggles and shit.
Yeah, stop doing that, guys.
Yeah,
If you're doing that,
100%. It's not nice,
take
man.
care of each other.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Hux?
What about me?
Did you move around a lot?
You've always lived in that like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, remember when you burnt the house down?
Yeah.
Wait, did you?
Yeah. Don't tell you this.
She doesn't watch our podcast, guys.
This guy's proud. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
Wait, the one that you live
it's
in
the
now.
best, no.
No, so I've moved around because I was like a troubled child
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I was getting kicked out of home and stuff. Like so the first house that I don't know how to say this.
Yeah, it's
'cause-
alright. You don't have to.
You don't
Yeah.
have to
No,
say-
like it's not hard. Like
Find
it
the
just
word.
feels really weird now because
You're gonna cry.
no, because
yeah, I know.
I
what you mean.
wasn't like I know what it's like to get evicted from places like that, but
Mm-hmm.
we've always had like a stable
Yeah.
Yeah.
house.
But
you
that's
know?
alright. Yeah. It's like,
Yeah, like because the first house that I grew up in, like my parents bought that house, and then the one that we live in now, they buy, like they've
They
bought. Yeah, can we cut that?
Yeah.
Awkward.
No, but doesn't mean like you haven't struggled. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
take anything away. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
like
just
we
because-
definitely have
Yeah,
struggled.
100%.
Like I remember when my mum would always ask for my PlayStation 4 and be like, "Oh, son, can I like take it down to the pawn shop
Yeah.
and like
Oh.
pawn it? Because
Yeah.
like you know we don't have money this week." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, like take my fucking PlayStation."
Yeah, for sure.
No,
But,
yeah,
yeah.
100. I think everyone's different. Like, especially with struggle, like everyone struggles differently. Like, it may not be your homes, like your like like how we've moved around, but 100% everyone has a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just have a bigger struggle. No, that's better. Nah, yeah, I think that's a very toxic thing when people kind of compare each other's struggles.
Yeah,
and,
100%.
like,
Yeah.
you didn't struggle.
Yeah.
Like, I think everyone has their own bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone should
That's
just kind of be more embracing towards everyone's struggles.
Yeah.
100%.
And because what you've heard about someone's struggle or what someone tells you about someone's struggle is not the depth of
Yeah.
someone's
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you
It's
really
kind
have
of
to
you kind of just
experience.
tap the surface
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
their struggle. Yeah.
Yeah.
even like mentally struggling, like you know what I mean. Like everyone struggles way like differently
In
so,
different
yeah.
ways.
Yeah,
Ways.
that's like Drake started from the bottom.
Yeah.
Everyone was like full bashing him. Like you didn't struggle. I thought that was so sad to see people kind of try and control the narrative of his story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
100%.
show love, guys. Stop hating.
That's it, eh? So you started like what was one of your first jobs? Like, so you started at 14 years old.
Yeah, so I was working at McDonald's. Like that was like my first job, and like I was there for like a year. Then I moved to Coles.
Oh,
And
nice.
I was like working at the bakery section where I like bake cookies and stuff.
Yes.
Did you steal from there?
Is
Oh,
this
yes.
why you you bake these?
So how it worked is you were to make cookies. If like in a pack there's 6. If there was 5, that's like a loose pack.
Yeah.
So then
okay.
like I would just like pack it and put it like in the tea room and like give cookies to everyone.
Did you take it home?
But yeah, I would
Yeah.
always take cookies home.
Yeah,
Of course.
100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can we see the receipt?
Did you steal these?
Tealish, we've got a stealer in here.
So then yeah, I went from Coles, and then my next job was I worked at Cotton On for like 1 shift.
Oh,
Nice.
didn't we
Didn't
all?
like
Nah, I
Got
didn't.
busted stealing, didn't you?
Nah, that's Mihaka.
Wait, literally, I got busted
You got
stealing
fired there, didn't
from
you?
Cotton On because I was stealing. I got
Yeah,
fired.
he has
A history.
stealing.
I have a
of
problem, guys.
Yes.
that. And then I got a job at Napoleon. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, got a job
Napoleon
there.
Curtis.
And then like I always
Dynamite.
wanted to work at
What did you say?
Napoleon Dynamite. And then yeah, I always wanted to work at Mac, but you needed like experience, like at least like 2 years like retail, like
Yeah.
makeup retail experience. So that was like the only reason why I worked at Napoleon.
Okay.
And then yeah, I got a job at Mac, which was like
Is that where
kind
you
of
met?
yeah, which was kind of unfair because this one over here had like no makeup retail
How
experience,
did you get in that?
but he got a job straight away. Can
He
I
lied.
say
Yeah.
you lied, and I
I
also
lied.
put in like a good word for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
But you lied to me.
Did I?
You did.
What did I say?
He,
I've been working so long. Makeup.
he dead set told me that he was like, oh yeah, I'm a makeup artist. Like,
Wait, that's so huge.
Oi, anything
That
to
is
get the
so
job.
huge.
and then like
That
people,
is
even
so
though like
huge.
at this point me and you became like good friends.
Yeah.
And he kept that lie up.
Because we were like working in the same store.
Yeah.
Like I was at Mac and he was just like, we at the airport it's called like a generic.
yeah.
So he was kind of floating around, like the cash register boy.
Yeah.
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 And then
Oh, cashier.
and he
It
steal
was
the cash
luxury
too.
watches, actually.
Oh, that's what you want.
Oh, that's where you stole your watch from.
And then what do you call it? And then he full told me that he was a makeup artist, and so when he like applied or whatever, and my manager would come to me and ask me like, oh, like how is he? I'd be like, yeah, he's a heaps mad makeup artist.
Yeah, but he was shit,
But-
eh?
And then but he wouldn't. But he
Wow.
still didn't tell me until I think they had to do like these little like tests and
Yeah.
shit. And then he'd be like, oh boo, like I'm scared. I don't. And I was like. And then I started to put it together. I'm like, this motherfucker lied to me. And then you've actually never fully opened, like, and
Yeah.
said that. I lied.
Yeah, well, I lied, guys. But you know what? It's because I don't know if it's for like other gay guys as well, but like, and I feel like for makeup artists as
Yeah.
well, like that's like one of those jobs that you want to work at because
Where-
it's like
at
really,
Mac.
really
Yeah.
Yeah.
prestigious, you know, like
Yeah.
especially in that
In that
Realm.
in the makeup world.
in the makeup world,
Yeah.
Mac, especially then,
Back then,
was
that was
the
like
standard.
where you wanted to be.
Yeah. That was the makeup counter, you know.
Why? Like what was it?
There was nothing else bigger than Mac.
Yeah,
Mac was
especially
like
then.
above like yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
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 It was like the only brand that had like
Me and Bella's
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
I'm
man.
trying to like find like something that could relate to that, like
Mm.
in a different world, like in the music world, like
Yeah, it's pretty much just the pinnacle of
yeah.
Yeah.
makeup. Yeah.
I don't know.
what was? So he got you fired.
Yeah.
No.
No, wait, no, sorry. Nah.
Explain it, yeah, just
Yeah.
go for
So
the
we were
story.
there. It was like 2 years or something. We were
Mhm.
there, and now you go. You say it. I don't,
Yeah.
Okay,
go
so
on.
like,
because I might just say too much, and I
Yeah.
don't know how much you want me to say.
Just tell the story, but please don't lie about it.
Don't add anything in, mate.
so we were working at Mac, and we didn't have a manager for like
Ages.
ages. So we were like running that bitch, and
we were bad.
we were really bad. Actually.
Not in the sense that we were bad. We were just like talk shit, not do our work,
not do our
laugh,
work at all. Laugh.
go to other counters.
Other counters. No. We wouldn't even go to other counters. The other counters would come to us. Like, everyone knew that the Mac counter was the counter to, like, be at, you know? Because me and Kayla were there. Sorry to all the Mac artists that were there.
Sorry. Not sorry.
What are we talking about
So
again?
How
the
you
Mac
got
counter
fired.
was the one.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then-
So, like, yeah, we didn't have a manager for such a long time. Sorry. So it was easy for us to get away with a lot of things. So, yeah, I would order testers from when we had to order testers for our counter, and then I would take the testers, and then
Wow.
I would also take other things as well. Like, let's be honest, I'm never going to get a job at Mac again. So shout out to Mac.
But you were young, so
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
young. It was different. I was struggling, okay? Struggling. And yeah.
Struggling for makeup.
So yeah, I would steal, and then I would literally give them out to people. Like, I would always give them to my little sister, who's the camera person today.
Yeah.
I would give them to anyone that was interested in makeup or never really touched
Yeah.
MAC cosmetics, you know, because
How
it's
old were you?
expensive. Fuck.
18.
Last
So
year.
that, you know,
How old are you?
Last year.
he was really young, guys.
You were
Yeah.
19, 18 at the
Yeah,
time?
I was the youngest one there.
So
Yeah,
you
I
were
was
20.
So we're 4
22.
years apart, yeah? 22,
Two.
1,
2
21,
or 3,
22,
yeah.
3.
Oh yeah, that's still young.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's still young.
Yeah, and then
And then his ass got caught.
I got caught because
Fired.
someone else got caught
Yeah.
for stealing, and then because I was
cancelled.
linked to this person,
Yeah,
I got like
busted.
busted,
Yeah.
and then I literally confessed to everything. I was like, "Yep, I did this. I take testers." I didn't say I stole, but I said I take testers.
Yeah.
And then because I'm linked to his ass,
Yeah.
they automatically assumed that I was stealing too.
Yeah,
And then so I was like, no, because I wasn't.
yeah.
And then why are you laughing? And then
Funny.
and then so he got fired, and like it
Mhm.
was boring. So I was like, this sucks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put in my resignation.
Mm-hmm.
And then they all assumed that I was guilty because I put in my resignation.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm not.
yeah.
Like I was ready to leave like months and months before,
Yeah.
because like I built my like
Your
business.
clientele. Yeah.
Yeah. So you were saying earlier, Mac is pretty much the pinnacle for makeup. So of course that would have been like a huge goal for you.
Mm.
And when you did make it, what kind of, like, was it a fake perception? Not fake, but like it wasn't everything that you kind of thought it would be.
Yeah, like when I got there, I was like, oh, is this it? And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, like I dreamed of this for so long, and I wasn't
wasn't it,
satisfied.
yeah.
It wasn't it. Yeah. So I thought there was something wrong with me, but then I was like, nah, like I'll just keep working here,
Yeah.
but then I'll keep like doing makeup on the side and like hustling and doing like my freelance business.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, I'll eventually make that my full-time job.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, so while I was working at Mac, I was kind of just taking it easy. I was just
Yeah.
like taking jobs here and there. But then, like some shit happened like with my family, and my dad, he got arrested and he went to jail. And then, you know, at this point I was like already living out of home. So I was living like with a friend, like we got our own place together. And then there was my family home, like with my parents and all my siblings.
Yeah.
And then, sorry, I keep saying
No, that's,
That's
alright.
alright.
And then, yeah, so my dad was in jail. He's the only one that made money.
Yeah.
And then my mom, she left. She went overseas. She fucked off overseas. And, like, I didn't talk to my mom for years because of, like, that situation.
Gave you that responsibility.
Yeah.
What
and
was that like for you?
Well, like, I've never felt like that in my entire life, where
Yeah.
I just felt like so alone, and I didn't know what to do, but I did
Yeah.
know that I had to take care of my family.
Mm-hmm.
So there was the family house that needed rent and bills paid for, and then there was my house that I needed to pay my
Yeah.
own like bills and
Yeah.
whatever. So I was like, what I'm making at Mac isn't enough. It just covers my living expenses.
Yeah.
So then I just started pumping out the freelance work and freelance
Damn.
jobs.
Yeah.
So, you know, I could pay for my family's like living and for their food and everything. And, you know, here I am, like I was doing like really well in my business. And I think because I had that drive and I had that hunger,
Yeah.
Whereas I didn't really have that before.
Yeah.
Like I did, but not to the level that I did at
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah.
And so I'd be posting on like Instagram and stuff, and I would have people telling me like, oh my God, you're doing so well. Like, you're so busy.
Yeah.
And then little did they know like what was actually going
Yeah.
on.
Mm.
But that was okay. Like, I didn't really like open up to much people about it.
Yeah.
And then like it just got really hard, and because there was no one looking after the kids, what me and my older sister had to do was have turns calling in sick.
Yeah.
And so you know, she would take care of them one day, I would take care of them another day, and you know, she had to drop out of uni, get a job, and we both, you know, almost like lost our jobs from calling in sick too much. Like I would have meetings with the managers, and I think like they would just give me warnings because I would call in sick all the time. And then I think maybe like I reached my last warning, and then they were like, look, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
And then I just opened up and I was like, look, you know, my dad's in jail, and I was like, I'm one of 11 kids and I have to take care of the kids, and like no one's at home to take care of them. And I told them that I was freelancing and stuff and I needed to make money, and you know, if one shift I would make like $150, whereas if I was going to freelance and make $500, I'm going to choose that.
Yeah.
of
for my
course.
family.
Yeah.
And then the manager that I was talking to was like, oh my God, like, I'm so sorry. She was just like, all of us were talking about you and just thought you were this young girl going out partying and like
yeah.
being lazy and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And like, we had no idea that you were going through this.
Yeah.
So they then kind of like cut me some slack.
Yeah.
And then, you know, a few months later, fired me.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mihaka.
So when your mum left, how was that like for you? Were you mad, like angry?
Yeah, like me and my sister, like we were so mad at my mom. Like we had a really toxic relationship at that point, and we blamed her for everything, which now I look back and I don't.
Yeah.
We have a much better relationship now, but at the time, it was bad. Like we'd speak to each other, we'd put out like we'd fight each other.
Yeah.
Like she, you know, we'd throw hands.
Yeah.
You and your mum.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, and like I like smashed her like house window.
Yeah.
Like she called the police on me, and like the police that was like working on the case and stuff, like he was like working really closely with like my mum and stuff, and you know, she would call him and then he'd call me and like full abuse me. So I had this like police officer calling me, or I think it was like a detective or whatever, and be like, don't ever fucking talk to you.
Wow, no
speak
way.
to me like that. And then I'd be like, and then just say things like, I'm going to put a fucking AVO against you,
No
blah, blah.
way.
And I'm like, who is this clown?
Yeah.
Wait,
Who are you to
100%. Who
interview?
I'm just like,
to talk to
yeah,
you
and I'm like, this
that?
is like,
Wow.
like a family man. I'm like, that's my mom. Like,
Who was saying that? Sorry.
a
detective.
detective that
What
was like
the
working like on the case.
But like, why would
Wow,
he like?
that is weird.
Was he close to your mum or?
yeah, like, because they worked on like the whole case, like very like closely and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I hated him. And
Oh, yeah,
he had no right. Like,
Yeah.
What a
who the hell
grub,
was
man.
he to talk to you like that? Oh, making me angry.
Hello, bro. Say his name, bro.
So how did that make you?
Damn.
Did that like make you feel a certain way towards like the system? Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Like I'd look like while my dad was in jail and stuff, and he wasn't sentenced or anything,
Yeah.
but he was sitting there, and like we'd just be there like waiting for court dates,
Yeah.
you know, waiting for him to, you know, be like called innocent.
yeah,
And then he'd be there for like 3 months, and then they'd be like, oh, the court date's been pushed back 6
Yeah.
months. So I'm like, so this innocent man's sitting here for another 6 months. And then that happened multiple times, and after a year, so my dad was in, I think they say incarceration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was there for a year, and then when he had his like final court date, and then they like looked through everything, and they were just like, yeah, time served. So
no way.
he got to like come home like on one of the court dates and stuff.
Wait, so did he get sentenced? Like,
No.
so they just held him that whole time?
Yeah.
Until
Until
so what would happen at his court dates? Like, would it just get adjourned? Or-
yeah. It would just like get adjourned, or they would move it before it would actually be the court date and stuff like that.
Damn.
Yeah. And then, yeah, it was like, it's been like really good like having my dad back, but
Yeah.
such a shitty situation, and at the time I would always question like, why is this happening to me, or why is this
Yeah.
happening in my life and stuff. But I look back and it was like honestly like a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, 100%.
Like I got to get my business to where it is because of that situation, my family grew like closer than ever because of that. And like, you know, the first time I ever said I love you to my dad was his first phone call in jail. And like the first time in like my 19 years of life that I ever said I love you to my dad.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we would only hug like twice a year, like on Christmas or like New Year's. But then, you know, we'd go to visits every single week. And like I'd hug my dad like when I see him, and then like hug my dad like when I leave. So like that was like really nice. And then I remember the Christmas and the New Year that he wasn't there, because we spend it with his family, and like he's got like hundreds of like cousins, nieces, cousins, I mean, whatever. And I remember we were all crying, like all my aunties, all my uncles were all so upset that he wasn't here with us for Christmas. And then we were like, it's all right, next year he'll be with us. And then when he came back, I swear everything went back to normal. We went back to like hugging like once a year or whatever. And like just being like, I'll go to like my dad's house, I'll be like, hi dad. Like I thought that it would kind of be the way it was like when he was in jail, like we'd be like more affectionate and stuff like that. But I think he was just like that because he was like sad and alone. But now he's like all good and like normal. And
So your mum's back now?
Yeah. My mum wasn't like away for too long.
Yeah.
But she was away during the time that it was like the most difficult.
Happening,
Yeah.
So do you feel like you had to grow up really fast? So like once your dad got taken away and then your mum left, you and your sister had to really step up?
Yeah. I mean, we always kind of already had that responsibility.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like everything that my parents taught us.
Yeah.
We were able to like use that. Like if, you know, we were the kind of children that never had to work a day in our life, never had to do washing, never had to take care of anyone.
You were already doing everything.
We would have been like, what the fuck, like, do we do?
Yeah.
But it was kind of like we were already doing those things.
Yeah.
But the only thing we failed at was, you know, having to try and pay for everything. We prioritized, you know, the house, the bills and everything, food, and we were paying for like our own cars, and I was paying for my own rent as well.
Yeah.
We had to like pay for like the family car.
Yeah.
And then eventually we weren't able to afford it. So that was like the one thing that we stopped paying for and it got taken away.
Yeah.
But if I look at that situation, I'm just like, at the end, like,
it's not that important.
It's not important compared to like everything else.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like you needed to move home? Like, so you know how you have your family home and then you had your own home? Was there ever a stage like you ever thought like it would be easier to move back?
Yeah, like I always thought that, but I was like, I would kind of just, I was like, I can, you know, make things a little bit easier for me and just move back. Or I could just keep working hard and provide for both. 100%. And because I was just like, if I want to have this business, I needed like my own space and my own room. Because if I was working from home, there was like babies running around in like shitty nappies. So I was like, okay, I can keep this separate. I just need to like, you know, keep doing that one or two extra clients. Because my rent was only like a couple $100 here. And then,
Damn.
I remember
I mean, Mihaka was with me throughout that whole journey. He saw everything like unfold, and like I went from being this like happy little thing to going through that, but then I grew through it. You know that saying, you know, grow through what you go through. But I definitely did.
I remember when you first came to me and you're like, oh my God, I have to tell you something. And then I was like, I remember. And I was like, what is it? And then when you were telling me, I was like, what the fuck? Like, this doesn't I never saw something like this happening for you, you know? It just literally came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then when you had to go through everything and when you were working so hard, I remember when, like right before your dad coming back, you were like, I'm so burnt out. Like I can't even do makeup anymore. Like I remember you saying that you are falling out of love with doing makeup because it wasn't fun anymore. It was literally, I have to do this many people because I have to provide for my family, my siblings and stuff like that. And I remember like when you were saying that, I was like, that's not fun. Like it's not an exciting thing to hear, especially coming from you. Like it wasn't fun to hear those things.
Oh my God, that makes me so sad remembering those moments. Because I can't even think of that.
Yeah.
Like I just thought about like, at the beginning, makeup was kind of my escape.
Yeah.
And then so, like, it would be like, I'd be so upset in my normal life, and then I'd do someone's face, and I'd kind of forget about like, all my problems.
Yeah.
But then, it did get to a point where I just had to do it so much that it wasn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then that's also because, I was working a full-time job, the kids and that. But then when I was able to... So what happened was, I really built my clientele. And all of that shit happened at Mac with Mihaka. And everyone was kind of just like, you've built yourself a big enough clientele. Like, you're able to survive. Like, if you're spending, like, 38 hours here, that could be a couple... Like, you could take hours out of that time and fit in clients. So... I took that leap, and I remember before I quit, I spoke to my boyfriend, and I spoke to my sister, and I was like, hey, like, I think I'm going to quit. I think I'm going to quit and pursue freelance. And I remember asking them, I was like, if I ever need help with anything, financial, blah, blah, like, can you help me?
That was so cute, eh?
And then they were like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so I quit. Well, they kind of fired me. And then, like, not to be, like, fucking big-headed or anything, but I've never needed to ask them for any money because I've kept that work ethic where I've worked really hard and, I've had to help them a lot with financials. Because, like, unlike working at Mac, you're kind of capped at a certain rate, whereas when you work for yourself, you can make as much money as you want.
There's no cap.
Yeah. So that was just kind of crazy that... Sometimes I'll look back and, some mornings where I'm waking up at like 3 a.m. complaining, like I'm so tired, I want to go to sleep. I think about, but remember when you were working that job and all you ever dreamed of and wished for was to be in this position. So I always think about stuff like that, like daily. I'm
That's
just
so
like, you
good.
once wished for this.
For sure.
Freaking oath.
Love that. Inspiring.
That's it. Keep that shit going, man.
Yeah.
When you left Mac, what was your confidence level at on going the whole like
freelance
independent route?
I don't know, like if I think about like my confidence, it wasn't like full, like I still had a little bit of fear of like, what if I don't book any jobs? But then just like after weeks and weeks and weeks and like I was just growing and getting busier, that completely left.
Love that.
Love that.
Have you like now that we're into like your makeup and how you're doing it from home, have you ever come across a client that you haven't been happy with?
I've come across like a fair few.
What's one of your worst ones?
Exposed.
Okay. So we'll say like the worst ones is anyone that's a makeup artist, when you do weddings, it's really hard to please the mother-in-law, the mother, the grandmother. Like those are often hard. Like they have different
because there's
styles.
more inputs than just what you're doing.
Exactly. Like if you have like a bride that books you for a group of 8, what are the odds that all 8 people are gonna like your makeup? And then I've once worked with this artist.
Do tell.
So like and it was off actually working on one of like my biggest highlights of my career. Like not that this person I'm talking about is the horrible person, but the amazing person I worked with was this rapper called Lady Leisha. She's like an amazing UK rapper. And I got to, be her personal makeup artist and tour the country with her. She was headlining at, I don't know if you've ever heard of Groovin' in the Mood. It's kind of like the Australian version of Coachella.
Nice.
So she was like performing like all over the country and I was like her personal makeup artist.
Damn, that must have been fun.
That was fun.
Yeah.
And then like we got like really tight and she was like, I want to film a music video. And at the time like I was really in with the music scene and I was doing a lot of music videos for like independent small artists. And so I was like, I've got a videographer, I've got dancers, I've got this, so I like sourced everyone for her and I put this video together. And then in one of the video scenes, it was like a club scene and I got to invite all my friends and your boy Mihaka has a pretty like iconic scene in the music video.
Yes, I do.
And like that video like did really well. It's got like over like 3 million views on like
Wow,
on YouTube.
that's dope.
But and like she was like, how cool was she? Like she was amazing.
She was amazing.
Like, and she's gone to do like big things like work with like Nicki Minaj and like open for her for all of Nicki Minaj's like European shows. Yeah, and so like to work with someone like that, after I got off the tour, the next person I worked with was this like small artist.
Small
And
Little
like-
mini, no.
And she was just like horrible to me. Like,
Yeah.
Up and coming artist.
yeah, like rude. Would talk down on me. Not talk down on me, but like I did her makeup like, let's say every single week for like a month. And then like the first like 3 times was perfect and she loved it. And then the last time, I don't know, she must have been in a mood that day. But she like looked in the mirror and cried.
Damn.
And then I was like, what's up? What's wrong? And then she was just like, and I'm like, I can't help you if you don't tell me what's wrong.
Yeah.
And then she just had like a fat sook. And then I was like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
And then like she like ended up messaging me saying, oh, I'm so sorry that I was upset. My boyfriend didn't cook me breakfast. And I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah.
don't treat
Like, what
people
an
like
excuse.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no
Trying to
way.
justify
Didn't get breakfast.
Yeah, and
was
I
being
was like,
rude.
okay. But like, I mean, when she walked in that day, she was like in a pretty shitty mood.
Already in
Yeah.
a bad mood.
Yeah. So I think because it was like a shoot day, maybe she expected like her boyfriend to treat her like it was her big day or something.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. But yeah. And she's just been trying to message me like heaps like ever since that.
Yeah.
And then like she's even gotten her makeup done by one of my friends and was like, oh yeah, I've had my makeup done by Kayla Perez, but she completely like dropped the ball.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was
like,
That's right.
Well, at
Let's
least
go
you know
get her.
it wasn't your fault. like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's obviously
What do you
just
Her boyfriend.
being
What do you-
upset, yeah.
what do you want to say to her right now?
Come out.
We got her. Bring him in now.
Yeah. So, you just mentioned the whole tour thing. Like,
Yeah.
how does that whole thing work? Like, you don't have a manager, or everything's just from like the work
So-
speaking for itself? Kind
Yeah,
of thing?
pretty much. So her record label actually reached out to one of my friends who's one of the dancers who kind of always gets used in a lot of like videos
Oh,
and
nice.
stuff.
Let's
Yep.
shout her out.
And it's my girl Malaika.
Mhm.
Oh.
She's
Shout
a
out.
beautiful, beautiful black woman.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that was the one thing that the record label was looking for. They wanted an artist that could work well with black skin. And they reached out to Malaika and was like, who's the one that always does your makeup? And then she was like, oh, Kayla Perez. And it was really funny because at the time, like, I would always do all of Malaika's work for free.
Mhm.
And I would literally have friends talk shit and... Sorry. I would literally have friends talk shit like, oh, you're doing her makeup again. Oh my gosh, she doesn't even pay you. Or you don't even get paid for that.
Who was saying that? Sorry,
Friends.
friends.
Well,
Yeah,
friends.
they didn't really see what.
Yeah.
you were
Yeah.
looking
And then,
at,
like,
yeah.
for me, I would always do things because I know, like, one, because I really care.
Yeah.
Because she was my friend.
Yeah.
And, like, two, I always saw things as an opportunity. And I still do.
Yeah.
So even at the level I'm at now, I always will see things as an opportunity.
Mhm.
And I always want to, like, build relationships. And, like, so many people always want to say, oh, I want to network.
Yeah.
And that's all they care about. Like, I think for me is I always want to build
Yeah.
relationships. And so I built a really good one with Malaika. And, you know, she got me on board for all these, like, incredible jobs. A lot of them were not paid. But I always knew that that will bring me somewhere one day.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's so
And then,
good.
so when I booked that gig with Lady Leisha, I, like, looked back at all the years of free work I did for Malaika, and I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
Like, this is what all of that stuff has brought me to. And that one job that I did with Lady Leisha, which is until this day, my favorite gig.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so cool.
I'm just like, you know, that was the universe repaying me for all the work that I
Yeah.
did. Like, you know, you may not get your payment tomorrow, next month, next year, but I believe that it will always come back to you.
Yeah,
Of
For
course.
sure.
100%.
That's what we were
That's
talking
so
about
Pelz.
before, huh?
No, that's like so you.
Yeah, like I think everyone just gets lost in the whole like I want it now kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
they don't really see like you're getting paid, but the currency will come in exposure or
Yeah.
Yeah.
relationships.
Mhm.
100%.
That's mad. Yeah, I think everyone should
So
take
good.
notes.
Yeah.
Stop worrying about I need it now.
Yeah.
Take your time and
That's it, eh?
Yeah.
do it properly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good on you.
Yeah, that's so
Good on you.
exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was very exciting.
That was an exciting
sure.
time.
Yeah.
Did you like party a lot when you were on
Yeah,
tour?
we did. Yeah. So we got to go like all these private parties, after parties,
Yeah.
and there were pretty cool people on that tour as well. Like, you know, that guy like Amine, Flexi Mama was on
Oh,
that same
yeah,
tour as
yeah.
well. I wonder who else. I don't remember, but Amine, he stood out. Yeah, there's a little bit of beef there actually.
Ooh.
Oh, we love beef.
There was like a
Welcome to
little
the
like
beef
there was like a
segment.
little Twitter war between him and like Lady Leisha,
Mhm.
and then like that had to get squished really quick by the organisers.
Yeah.
Mm.
What was it like for you being away from home? And were you with your partner? At
Yeah,
the time?
it was easy for me, but it was hard for him.
Oh, really?
I think like when you're away, you don't feel it as much.
Because you're kind of busy
'cause
and you're
busy.
doing your thing.
Yeah, whereas for him it's like hard, but he's gotten used to it because I'm like now I'm always like away for work.
Yeah.
And he's like used to it now, but back then it was a little bit harder.
Yeah.
And but it was cool because when like all the parties and stuff were happening like in Sydney and stuff, he would always come.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
I got him backstage for like the Sydney show, got him like to all like the parties,
Yes.
and he was in the video clip as well.
Yes,
so,
he was.
Oh, that's
and so was
mad.
James.
Oh yeah, James has a really cute part in it
Yeah,
as
he
well.
does.
Yeah, love you, James. Shout out to
Yeah.
you.
So what was her name that you used to do her makeup for free?
Her name's Malaika.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're saying that she was a beautiful black woman. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how was that? Like, how do you, as a makeup artist yourself, how do you feel like? Is it easy for you to match their skin?
Yeah.
And like work.
I actually personally
Yeah.
find it easier working with women of color.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But then again, from the beginning of my makeup journey, that's what I catered to.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There was like no one in my area like really doing women of color.
Yeah.
And so like I mean everyone
That's so true.
everyone I was surrounded by like were like brown skinned girls.
Yeah.
So to me that was just how I started.
Yeah.
And that's really how my business grew. And so I actually had this like one situation where I was like doing this job and the girl that I was doing was a beautiful brown girl and she was like looking at herself and she was like, oh my god, like I love how you do my skin.
Yeah.
She's like, no one else does it like you.
Yeah.
And then there was a hairdresser who was just like, yeah, I noticed that you always do brown girls. She was like I saw that on your page. She was like, you need to do more white girls.
Oh wow.
What?
And I was like,
Am I?
What
I'll
was
do
the-
whatever I want. That's what I'm gonna do.
What was the hairdresser's name?
Yeah. What was the ethnicity of this girl?
she was white.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Of course.
And so I was just like, I was like, there's not, especially in the area that like I grew up in, I was like, there wasn't many like makeup artists catering to like darker skin.
Yeah.
And then she was like saying, because if you don't like post about white girls, people are gonna think you don't know how to do white girls.
Oh wow.
And then I questioned her and I was like, well, why don't you do black girls?
Yeah.
And then she had some bullshit excuse
Of
like,
course.
oh well, they don't come into the salon. And then I was like, no, that's because you don't know how to do their hair.
Yeah.
You don't post about them.
Mhm.
Therefore, they're not going to walk into
And with
somewhere.
that attitude, why would they
Yeah.
want to go to you?
Exactly.
And then I,
Like,
like we were kind of going back and forth, and I was just like saying, like, at least like I've educated myself in being able to work with all skin types,
Yeah.
skin tones.
'Cause I know,
Whereas she wouldn't be educated. Like if a black girl did walk in, like would she confidently be able to work with their hair texture
Yeah.
and use the right products? Probably
Mhm.
not.
Mm-mm.
And that comes with ignorance and like not being able to care.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I know a lot of makeup artists like that don't really know how to match. Like, even with my own, like I'm pretty dark myself. Like, you know what I mean. So, like, I don't really get my makeup that much, but like when I do, like they're like, oh, can you bring your own
Foundation.
Yeah, that's what it's called. I'm like, what's it called?
What's that?
Nah, I'm not much of a makeup girl, but like I love it. Like I love it. Like it's good. Yeah.
Did
But
you reckon
yeah.
I'd beat her face really good?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I was like looking, I'm like,
Yes.
your skin tone's like my favorite. Like,
Yeah,
Dead.
it literally is.
Yeah.
And I remember, like when I would always say to you, that is my favorite thing that you would do was deeper skin girls because I don't know, like no one, like you said, no one really did those tones or does them well, like really matches. It's like either really ashy or it's just.
Well, sometimes I
not
feel like they try and
I could say
lighten,
like
lighten us. Yeah.
like within like Sydney,
Mm-hmm.
let's say there's like 500 like makeup artists. I could say there's like 15 amazing makeup artists that can actually work really, really well on like deeper complexion. It's just not as easy to find like
Yeah.
someone
Someone that perfects it. Mm-hmm.
but there's definitely good ones out there.
Who's sorry, am I talking a lot?
No.
I just want to say, who's a makeup artist that you really look up to? Like one of your faves.
My favorite of all time
Yeah.
would it like definitely be Adam Lee
I love him.
Oh my God,
I love
him.
him.
I love him. Like
I absolutely love him.
he's amazing. Like his style
Oh my
and
gosh.
just like if like people always ask me like if anyone was to do like your wedding makeup, who would it be? It would be him.
Oh my gosh, he is amazing. Like
He's amazing.
I am so not a makeup girl, but him, like I know him.
Yeah.
Like
I know
he.
him. Oh, shit, sorry.
Oh, do you know him too?
Nah, just kidding.
No,
What does he look like?
Oh, he's so handsome.
very
He is
handsome.
so
He's-
handsome.
Whose makeup does he do?
He's
Like-
done like quite a few celebrities. Like,
Like,
So
is he
many.
like with someone specifically that he always does their makeup?
He used to always do Trisha.
he used to always do Miss Tonga.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Even
He's done like Ashanti.
yeah.
I can't think of the people he's
No,
done.
but he's so amazing. Like I'm so not a makeup
No,
person,
he
but
is
when I
really
hear his
good.
name,
He's
Like-
Samoan, yeah?
Yeah.
yeah, he's
So
oh, yeah. Honestly, he's so good. Even his hair, like
Yeah.
the way
He's-
he does
the
hair.
way he dresses, he's just
Oh
amazing.
my gosh, yes, I love
Almost
him.
did it again.
Are you right over there?
It's makeup. No.
I hate makeup.
Sorry. Getting bored over there.
Attack him. No.
I'm feeling pressured.
Nah, but he's honestly amazing. Have you met him?
No, but we like speak on Instagram and I get so excited
Yeah.
when he replies to my stuff.
Oh my gosh,
Love.
he replied to one of mine too.
Okay, I don't feel
Oh,
so
yeah.
special anymore.
What does that say about Nibs?
I'm joking. Because about him bragging. You know? No, but I'm joking.
Nah, yeah, he calls me all the time.
Hey, babe.
I'm just gonna FaceTime you.
Video call.
Nah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
What did he say to you?
Oh,
No
jealous.
jealousy going on over here. Listen, that's between me and him. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dead.
So, status-wise in your makeup career, like, would you say you're kind of, you know, like, what is that, like, celebrity, like, famous kind of thing?
Oh, no. I couldn't say that. But, like, I
Yes.
hopefully one day. Like, my biggest dream is Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, she's
wow.
definitely, like, people would be like, what? Like, everyone's dream is, like, the Kardashians or someone. But
Yeah.
I think I grew up loving Nicki. So I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
she's, like, at the top of my list.
Oh,
Okay.
love that.
So would you have kind of public encounters of, like, supporters or people just a fan
All
of
the
your
time.
work?
Like,
How often is that?
I've, like, reached, like, a point where, even, like, back when I was working at Mac,
Yeah,
like,
even at
people
Mac.
would be flying through and be like, hey, you're Kayla Perez. Like, I follow you on
Oh, love
Instagram.
that.
Mm.
So it's really cute. It's really nice. And I still, like, get so excited. And I'll go home and I'll tell Kenny.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, oh, my God, someone, like, recognized me. And he's like, oh,
That's
my God, you
mad.
can... And he's like, again. Like, he's so over it.
Yeah.
But
So-
it's still, like, exciting to me.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much, would you say, like, every time you're in public, at least one
Uh,
person will stop you?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so all day. No.
No, but you know what? I think it's more like I've just done so many people
Yeah.
now within the last 5 years that I will go somewhere and I'm like, oh, my client. Oh, my
Yeah.
client.
Yeah.
My client. Like right before I came here, I went to Tealish.
Shout
And
out.
when I hopped out
Shout
the
out.
car, my client was there. And like she's
Oh,
not from the
nice.
area. And she's like, what are you doing here? And then I'm just like, you know, I had a legit reason. I was like, oh, like I'm in the area. I'm doing a podcast. I
Yeah.
was like, why are you here? She's like, I'm just fat. So she drove out an hour.
Oh,
Yeah.
Damn.
Love
Yeah.
that.
So, did you have any kind of funny encounters?
Oh, I reckon my
Like
funniest
awkward or
encounter
funny?
was I've like had a few awkward ones, but the funniest one was when I was doing this girl's makeup, and she broke the chair.
oh my god!
like I just like she was sitting on a chair like this, like a
A
swinging
stool?
chair,
Yeah.
and then all I saw was so like obviously one wheel broke, and then the whole thing just went a couple, and then she fell, and then she tried to.
Oh my god!
Sorry, she tried to get up real quick,
Yeah.
but when she fell, like she fell under the table. So when she got up, it was like,
Oh no way!
Oh.
and I was like, hup. So I was like, I just need to go to the toilet. And then I went to the toilet and like laughed.
Oh,
So that's your
no.
trick. Going to the toilet.
Boy, but it was hard because like I love when
Oh.
people fall and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just so funny to me. So the whole
When people
makeover,
hurt themselves. Wow.
the whole makeover, I was just trying to like quickly do it because I just
Yeah.
wanted to laugh. but it would replay in my head.
Oh,
Did she say anything? Like, did she laugh with you?
She was embarrassed.
Oh,
But there
man.
was 2 of her friends there as well, which kind of didn't make it as awkward.
Yeah.
But they were cracking up heaps.
Yeah,
But
I
all you
would
could
have laughed.
see, all you could see, I'd be like, close your eyes, because
I'm like, oh, wow.
I'd be like shaking.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was, yeah, that was probably the best.
I love that.
Oh, yeah, hard. What about
Say her name.
what about her name?
Niva.
I'm dead. Oh wow, big laugh for me. I think you're gonna fall off your chair soon. And me 2 friends are gonna laugh. No. Come back. Oh, can't bounce me. No, that was a good one. Oh, he dead. Oh my gosh, break.
So, you're talking about the whole touring thing.
Yeah,
Would you say that's the biggest achievement career-wise?
yeah,
Thus far.
yeah.
Or
nah,
like your
fully.
favorite?
My favorite and definitely the biggest. Because I don't know, opportunities don't really, like that, don't really come around in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because the artists will bring their makeup artists from overseas with them and tour with them.
Yeah.
Whereas like Lady Alicia had like her DJ with her videographer with her, like her manager with her. And the only person she didn't bring was like her makeup artist. So, yeah, most people have their whole team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like it's so hard to get jobs like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was definitely like
Pretty cool.
my biggest.
And you're her
yeah.
favorite, right?
Yeah.
What was your
Love
reaction
that.
finding that out? Because
I could just remember like the day that I got that phone call for that job.
Yep.
I was feeling really down, and I remember putting on like one of those like positive like podcasts.
Mm.
It was like Tony Robbins. I don't know if you guys know him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I listened to him in that morning, and then that afternoon, I got that phone call, and I was like jumping around, and like I was so happy, and it's kind of sad because I don't react that way anymore when I do get exciting jobs, because it's kind of like
Desensitized.
not desensitized.
Like,
Oh,
you're
I
just
guess
used to
kind
it.
of, yeah. It's kind of like you know when you go out and it was so fun that one time and you always try to chase that same
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you kind of see like how it came about straight away? Like, this is because I sacrificed getting paid.
Yeah. And I literally could lead it, like, you know how I said my friend Malika?
Yeah.
I could lead it back to the girl that introduced me to Malika.
Yeah.
I messaged that girl. Her name's Casey. Shout out to you, Casey.
Shout out,
Yeah,
Casey.
Yeah, we love her.
I love her.
So, like, this girl, Casey, was the first famous person to, like Insta famous
Yeah.
person to ever follow me on Instagram. And she had, like, 20,000 followers. And I remember I was like, oh, my God, I know this girl. Like, she followed me. And, yeah, from there, like, I was working with her. Then it led to Malika. And, like, literally anyone that helped me, I messaged every single person. I thanked them.
Oh, that's
So,
nice.
like,
Nice.
Corinne, Petrina, Lisa, like, I thanked them all.
Yeah. If you could give advice to upcoming makeup artists or young girls out there that want to like pursue makeup, what would it be?
I would say practice. Like, practice on your mom, your friends, your grandma, like
Your dad.
your dad. Yeah, practice on everyone. Watch as many like YouTube videos because there's so much information and resources out there. Like back in the day, like back when I started, like in 2009, there was like 4 people on YouTube making makeup videos.
Name them.
Michelle Fan,
Yeah.
Fafinette,
Mm-hmm.
Makeup by Lena Baby, and Heather 123.
Lena, yeah.
Well, those are the 4 that like I was watching.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was only like a handful. But now like there's so much makeup like thrown in your
Content,
face.
Yeah.
So I would say practice, and you know, like people want to practice for like a month and then start charging $50. Like I was doing free makeup for 2 years before I started charging $50.
Yeah.
But yeah, people just always want to make money, and I think fall in love with the craft
Yeah.
before you fall in love with the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people think it's quick money, and that's why people get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd be like, oh, like like they hear like how much makeup artists make and how they can control it, and then so they're like, oh, I want to get into makeup.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just have to love it.
Yeah.
So just to
Love
go back a bit, when you first started doing makeup, like, on the side, what did you like? Who gave you that whole perspective on building that foundation first? Because back then, entrepreneurship, freelancing wasn't like a really big thing.
Yeah.
Now it's like, you know,
It's like everyone's an
doing
entrepreneur.
it.
Yeah.
So like, who told you or gave you the like insight how to navigate through that?
Well, like I actually never really had a role model on like no one that I could copy from or look up to in that way. You know, none of my parents run their own business, but I was always such a hustler. So, you know, I was kind of like, you know, Corey from That's a Raven.
Yeah.
Like he always had money.
Yeah.
Like my family, like we never, like my parents wouldn't give us money. But if they did, we had to work for it. So like, let's say at Christmases or birthdays, if I was given money from like my aunties and stuff, I would save it. And then like if my mom didn't have cash on her, she's like, hey, I need $50. Let me borrow your the $50 cash.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, but when you pay me back, you're
Interest.
going to pay me back $60.
Yeah.
And so I would do things like that when I was in high school. Like some of the girls that I would hang out with, she's like, I don't want to walk to the canteen. Kayla, here's $10. Go buy me this, and then you can keep the change.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like buy her
Run.
something that was like $3, and then I would like have
Yeah.
$7 change.
Oh, nice.
So like I always kind of did things like that, and so I always knew how to like make money.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I just always like I always had like this kind of like, I don't know, this work ethic.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, it obviously showed from like my journey and how I started. Like I was always ready to like get my hands dirty, and like I didn't expect
into it.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
That's
Self-made.
mad. Yeah.
Self-made.
So like, would you say that's the same thing? Like, you know, the work ethic.
Yeah.
Like, was that the kind of thing that led you to, I want to be patient, I want to work for free, I want to slowly build relationships? Like, was that from work ethic, or like maybe it's watching someone?
I kind
or
of like a mixture of both, but it honestly just came from like within. I think it's because like I never had so much money and stuff like that I just did it because I loved it.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
so
okay,
I like, you know, didn't expect things for free, and like, yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but
you
I get
just
what
saw
you're
the
trying to
value
say.
you're getting back
Yeah.
from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I always saw it, well, like, even though I'm not getting paid, this is free education for me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
learning.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I always took that away, and that's how I always like looked at like jobs like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I think that's the best way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Love
Yeah,
that.
no. I just feel like, I don't know if it's always, but now, like, you know, everyone's kind of got businesses and that.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone's always kind of not appreciative of the supporters in that sense, so they always
Yeah.
kind of see them as money signs.
Yeah.
So when I do hear of stories like that, I'm like, that's the best.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that's the
100%.
way we operate.
Yeah.
Like here,
Mm-hmm.
Capiso.
So
Yeah, so it seems good to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I always try to like give advice and input on people who are like starting businesses, and I see so many people who are starting businesses and they just expect so much from people.
Yeah.
Like, for example, when I built my website, like I built it on my own, and the guy that like shot it and everything, I was doing so much work with him for free. My 3 models were my 3 regulars who I did so much work with them for free. One of them was Malika, one of them was Casey, and one of them was this girl called Kayla. And so for me to ask them, they were already like, well, you've done so much for
Of
me, of
course,
course I'm
yeah.
going to do this for
Yeah.
you.
That's so cool.
Whereas I see other girls do stuff like that, where they want to use people like for their
Yeah.
time and their energy, but they don't want to pay them.
yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, well, you need to invest in your business. If you haven't given them anything in the past,
Yeah.
at least pay them.
Yeah.
Like,
100.
Give them something.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Well,
So
I think
cool.
that's always like one thing that I've always loved about you is that
A
you
very
really do.
giving.
Yeah, very giving, and you
Yeah.
really do build relationships with clients. Like
yeah.
everyone that I've seen you work with people, and the way that you work with them, it's as if you're just hanging out with one of your bitches.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, oh yeah, like what did
Yeah.
you do today? Like it's, I don't know, the energy that like comes off your body is just like, I don't know.
Genuine.
It just, really genuine and
Yeah.
just like vibrates at a high frequency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think you can kind of see sees who has money, like you know
Yeah.
what I mean. They're not willing to go that extra mile
Yeah.
just
Or
to show you
enjoy it.
care. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So exposed? No. No, yeah, that seems good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your future plans as a makeup artist?
I would love to move overseas, work with
Wow.
celebrities, Nicki Minaj.
Yeah. So you would move to America?
Yeah, I would do that like maybe like 6 months, 1 year, come
Yeah.
back and
Mhm.
kind of do that back and forth. I would love to like kind of what I did with Lady Leisha's tour,
Yeah.
how I toured the country. I would love to tour the world with a huge artist. Like
Yeah.
I could see that maybe like someone like Rihanna or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
love.
that would be
Get
like
it,
a
girl.
huge dream. Like I
Mhm.
would love to do something like that. Like I love the music world, so that would be a
Mm.
huge dream.
Mm.
That'll be amazing.
Yeah.
You'll get there.
For
I hope
sure.
so.
100%.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you.
Man,
No doubt.
That is so cool.
Mm.
Yeah.
I remember you saying to me a long time ago that you really, like, one of the biggest goals that you have is working closely with one artist.
Yeah.
Kind of like a Mario,
Yeah,
what he is to
like
Kim.
a Mario to a Kim.
Yeah. And you've definitely said that Nicki Minaj is the top for you.
Yeah.
If there's any Australian artist that you would love to work with on that level, who would it be?
That chick.
Hmm.
My breakfast.
Oh, that's a hard one. Well, my friend Chloe Diamond, she's an incredible like Australian rapper.
Mm-hmm.
Like we always like speak of like growing together,
Mm-hmm.
and so I could see myself doing that with her.
Yeah.
Even like I work really closely with Kenyon Brown.
Yeah.
Like I've worked like on a lot of his shoots for the past few years, and you know, like you may not think boys wear makeup in videos, but they do.
They
Like
do.
Yeah.
Drake,
Yeah.
Chris Brown, like they all
Yeah.
wear like
Yeah.
videos, and
And
they all
now
have like
they're
really
all
like,
getting their eyebrows done.
yeah. And so like I do like Kenyans for all of his videos, but then I
Mhm.
also do like the girls in his videos.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so like you wouldn't think like a guy would benefit off a makeup artist, but like he really does. Like I help him like get like certain girls
Girls.
like
yeah.
and like my page in itself like is an amazing platform for like guys to look at,
Yeah.
like artists if
Yeah.
they want like a girl model. Like
Mhm.
they literally like go through my page and be like, oh yeah, her.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's kind
Yeah.
of reference. a
Yeah,
certain
so
thing,
I'll
yeah.
get some artists actually like message me and be like, hey, like I really want to work with this girl, could you message her for me? Or
Oh, that's
yeah.
so cool.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I should start charging or something.
Yeah. We know the feeling.
Royalties.
But yeah, but with Kenyon, because we've got that relationship, like
Yeah.
I go that extra mile for
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, and even
Yeah.
before both
Yeah.
of yous actually had a career in something, yous were actually friends
Like
as well.
we like knew each other. He like my best friend dated his cousin.
Yeah.
And he like
Yeah.
jerked, I jerked.
Hot.
Yeah, the dancing
Keep
cruise.
telling.
Yeah. Like besides family, and who do you think's your biggest supporter?
I would like 100% say my boyfriend.
Yeah.
My boyfriend and my sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like them two, like I like my ride or dies. Like
yeah.
they support everything. They see the highs, they see the lows.
Yeah.
And you know, some people have their parents, and I used to always complain about not having my parents don't have my back, or they're not supportive, or they never show how much they care.
Yeah.
But then I see it in them, and some people don't have that. You know, some people
Yeah.
don't have anyone to show them support.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm just like where I lack in my parents, I have in my partner and my sister.
Shout out to Kenny and
Yeah.
Celeste.
Shout out.
Kenny and
to them.
Celeste, my number one.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
Love you, bitches.
Do you have
Yeah.
any other shout outs you want to do?
So
Yeah.
oh my god, there's too many. Too many.
Start with me. No,
Yeah.
Nah, such a good story, honestly. Worked so hard, like, you know. It's good to see you overcame everything as well.
For sure. I think everyone's going to get so much value from this
Mhm.
on work ethic, being
Oh,
resilient,
100%.
overcoming the hard times, hardships,
Mm.
trials and tribulations. So take what you need, guys. Apply it to your life. You know, it's a
100.
great story on the come up. You know, that's what we stand on from the Ground Up podcast. And yeah, it's been a great time.
Yes, it has. So many big laughs,
Yeah.
man.
I'm
Yeah.
dying.
Tell the chair story again. Tell again.
Oh my god.
Actually, say her name on camera.
Better yet, say her nationality. No, I'm kidding. Oh gosh, no, it's such a great laugh, man. Honestly.
It was. Thank you.
Mm.
Yeah.